Kendrick, I know you were told we were about to shoot rap fix today.
Right.
And sit down and do an interview.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the whole truth. The whole truth is that the MTV Brain Trust got together, as we do every single year, and discussed who was the hottest MCs in the game. Yeah, man. And we went through about 15 of them, narrowed it down to 10. The 10 became 5, the 5 became 2. And you, Kendrick Lamar, are the hottest MC in the game, according to the MTV Brain Trust. Congratulations, man.
It's March 7th, 2013. Kendrick Lamar was just named the hottest MC on MTV's annual list. MTV had been dropping their annual hottest MC list, where they rank rappers based on their influence, impact, lyricism, etc. through a roundtable processing, including people like Sway and Rob Markman. Each list was based on the previous calendar year, similar to the Grammys, so in this case, it was really 2012's hottest MCs. This year's list included K-Dot at number 1 and Drake at number 5. Just a year prior, Drake was number 2 on that list, and Kendrick was nowhere to be found. Drake was number 4 in 2010 and 3 in 2009, so this marked the lowest he was placed on this list since his entry into the game. And J. Cole was notably nowhere to be found, but we'll get back to J. Cole in a couple minutes.
Let's get this young man, and he is a phenomenon. He's refreshing, and he's good for hip-hop. Drake, there you have it.
My name is Jeremy Hecht. If you guys are unaware, this is a channel where we love to discuss hip-hop, and specifically, I'm interested in analyzing the relationship between some of the biggest stars in the game, specifically, in this case, the Big Three. You also might know me from my weekly show, The Bigger Picture, with Elliot and DJ Head. Before this entire battle started, I was dropping TikTok videos analyzing the subliminal shots between Kendrick and Drake, and I put it all up on YouTube as one total video. That was around 30 minutes, and it has about 400,000 views on YouTube. But somebody left a comment, and they said I should go back and look at a very specific time period between the MTV Hottest MCs list and the Control verse. And I did just that, and there's a lot there. So let's get into it. But back to 2013. Later that night, seemingly in the middle of the night, on March 7th, Drake released a SoundCloud Lucy that many consider to be some of his best rapping ever. The song was titled 5 a.m. in Toronto. On the surface, the song appears to include topics of your average Drake timestamp record, where he talks about his spot in the game and reflects on how far he's come. But with the context of that MTV list in mind, this song sounds a little different. And there are many specific lines that stood out to me. The song starts with Drake saying, "You underestimated greatly," and then goes on to talk about his statistics. This could be a direct response to the makers of that list. But then Drake says, "Give these dudes the look, the verse, and even the hook. That's why every song sounds like Drake featuring Drake." On the MTV list, this could be a clear reference to actually a few people. In terms of the look, Drake gave Kendrick a huge look on Take Care by giving him his own interlude, as well as taking him on tour and giving him a feature for his major label debut, Good Kid, Mad City. But 2 Chainz, who was number 2 on that list, also benefited greatly from Drake providing him with the hook and a verse for one of his first big solo songs, No Lie. Rick Ross at number 3 also had Drake giving him a hook on Diced Pineapples, a verse on Stay Schemin', along with a hook and a verse on Aston Martin Music. They also appeared alongside each other on some of Ross's biggest moments at that point, including Pop That, Stay Schemin', as well as having him on Lord Knows off of Take Care. Not to mention appearing together on I'm On One. Drake also gave A$AP Rocky a feature alongside Kendrick and 2 Chainz on Effin' Problems, which dropped end of 2012. Drake had given Meek Mill a feature for Amen in 2012 as well, and he eventually, of course, gave Big Sean a verse and a hook on Blessings, but that would drop later down the road. Not to mention that Drake has written for Kanye before, so I wouldn't be shocked if he had written some hooks and verses for Kanye in that 2012 time span or in the years prior. Maybe something that we're unaware of. All that to say, it feels like Drake really felt slighted by this list. But on 5 a.m., Drake's feelings are really made clear when he says this: "F them this year, I made Forbes list. F your list, everything's looking gorgeous." He closes that verse off by saying, "I'm on my King James. I'm trying to win here again," meaning he's aiming for that top spot once again. So that was an initial response. Kendrick's response was actually very similar to the sentiment on Control and was all about competition. Here's what Kendrick had to say when asked about the list and the response from people like Kanye, who felt slighted with their position on the list.
It's very important for hip-hop. I love it. I love that they have debates like that. We need that, you know? It's competitive. A lot of people forget out here, you know, even though we're doing these collaborations and stuff like that, you know, and we cool at the same time, this is still rap. this still competitive. And I'm trying to compete with everybody, you know, to be the best. And that's how I feel, you know, everybody else should think about it, you know. So when people feel like they need to make their comments, I feel that's needed. You know, you're supposed to feel like you're the best. Because if you don't, you're going to get stepped on. Because there's a jungle out there. You feel me? Yep.
You hear what Kanye had to say about the list?
I heard about it. Yeah.
Very
Yep.
passionate, of course.
Exactly. As he should be. As he should be. Be passionate.
Then on June 22nd, 2013, Drake and J. Cole dropped Jodeci Freestyle, and there's also some references to this very same list on that song. And this time, things felt like they could have been a little bit more direct towards Kendrick. Again, let me know in the comments if some of these felt like Kendrick jabs, or if you think they were just general at the field type bars. I should run a clinic for dudes that think that they winning on some coach 50 M's for a 3-month road trip. Now, this feels like it could be alluding to Drake talking about taking both Kendrick and A$AP Rocky on tour, which if you add it up, it was 67 shows that lasted about 4 months. So that does fit that bar. And of course, Kendrick talks about that infamous conversation where Drake was giving him inside information about the industry and the game, because Drake was the first to really make it on that level of success out of the big three. He then says on verse 2, "Oh, stop, please stop arguing about who's the best MC. I think everyone would agree they know that you're not." And while this may have been more of a general sub, there was really only one person that it could have been directed towards when they're talking about they know that you're not the best MC, because there was only one person at the number one spot on that list. So even if it was kind of an at the field type bar, I think Kendrick was somewhere taking notes and just writing things in his notebook. "I'm just as unforgiving as most. You bit the hand, now starve. It's not a joke. I'll hang you with it after I teach you the ropes." Now, again, to me, this feels like it could be an A$AP shot or a Kendrick shot, because he seemed to have taken them under his wing, especially on that tour, and probably told them a lot of things about the industry, might have given them lessons about what he's learned when it comes to the music business side of things before they dropped their major label debuts. And again, alluding to what he had done for Kendrick prior with the features and the tour. Now, Cole and Drizzy were clearly talking about this list, at least in their own conversations, because it comes up once again in Cole's verse. Cole says, "F your list, you lame and doubters. I'm undoubtedly the hottest, and that's just me being modest. Go check the numbers, dummy. That's just me getting started." And then Cole delivers one of his worst bars ever that actually required an apology, which is now bleeped out in the version on streaming. Which, speaking of streaming, Cole also had a Spotify reference in this verse, and this is 2013, so he was definitely ahead in terms of technology, which he clearly shows that he still is if you looked at what he did with Even and his podcast, or his, Talk with Eve, where they're talking about and reflecting on the career. Cole's a smart guy. But also that showed at that time, to me, I think Cole could have gotten away with that line if he wasn't on a song with Drake, but it shows the difference in terms of where both of them were at and how Drake was still the leader in terms of mainstream success, or at least outside of just the hip hop world. In terms of Cole's response to this list in real time, here's what he jokingly had to say to DJ Drama. And whether or not you believe him about not caring, he clearly did feel something, because he put it in the bars in Jodeci Freestyle.
Cole's not on the hottest MCs
Who
list.
the fuck makes the decision?
How you feel about that, man? Because that's the first
Somebody's
time
gonna fucking die.
they left you off the list.
This is some bullshit. DJ Drama.
J. Cole is here.
Somebody's gonna die.
He's got his Dreamville shirt on. And what you think, man? Like, as a lyricist, as an MC, as somebody who's quite relevant in 2013 and as of 2012. And
Well, you goddamn right.
why did they leave you off the list, Cole?
I don't know, bro. I don't really give a fuck.
And when you hear Kendrick talk in that interview earlier, it's clear that he has a competitive spirit brewing, and he's ready to claim that top spot. He didn't shy away from it for 1 minute. So he may have even been thinking about it beforehand, even before this list, but I think hearing those lines from Drake and Cole gave him a little extra motivation to want to take the competitive spirit to the next level and stamp himself as the best amongst his peer group lyrically. And then on August 14th, Kendrick Lamar, alongside Jay Electronica and Big Sean, dropped the infamous Control verse, which I still think is the most impactful verse in hip-hop history. And I will stand on that because of what it led to a decade later. But we can discuss that in another video because we all know what happened next. Drake was on Crown with Elliott Wilson, and he said, does anybody know how the Controlverse started? You know, if it wasn't all love, why'd you dap me up at the award show the other day? And then Kendrick responds with the BET cypher, high five, joke's on you, ha ha, I'm bulletproof. And then we got subs for the next 10 years, ultimately leading to the biggest rap battle of all time. But let me know what you want me to cover next in a video. And also let me know what you think of this theory. Did that hottest MCs list spark Control in one way or another? And do you think those were real shots at Kendrick on Jodeci Freestyle or on 5 a.m. in Toronto, or these were just general Drake subs at the field? But let me know in the comments if there's any other bars during this time period that I missed or anything else you want me to cover. Please hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend who you think might enjoy. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys so much for 20,000 subscribers. I started this channel like 15 years ago, and I've gone through waves of being on it for music, being on it for content, being on it for interviews, and not being on it at all. So it's amazing to be dropping new videos, and I'm very grateful for your time. Appreciate you. Peace.